Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Welcome to the show. I'm Lisa Williams. Today we have Nicole Garner Scott. Nicole is a product of Georgia State University and New York's Fashion Institute of Technology. She is also the principal of a high-profile events planning, fashion, and lifestyle public relations and marketing agency, the Garner Circle PR. Nicole began her career under the tutelage of some of the industry's most noted entertainment and celebrity publicists, and soon realized her passion for the lifestyle side of PR. Her clients range from the Jaguar Luxury Brand, Lionsgate, Ciara, Oxygen, Bravo, Porsche, and Adidas. She has appeared on MTV, BET, E, VH1, NBA TV, and on the glossy pages of many of today's most well-noted magazines and blogs. Nicole is an author, instructor, and practitioner that has asserted herself as an authority in the world of publicity and branding. Pursuing a mission of serial entrepreneurship, Nicole has leveraged her resources by creating an enterprise consisting of the Cosmetic Circus, the Entrepreneurs Ivy League, and a nonprofit, the Pink Lemonade Stand. Nicole is also the founder of 100 Female Entrepreneurs in Atlanta. Please welcome to the show, Nicole Garner Scott.
How are you?
Good, thank you. We're glad to have you. Well, let's get started. Today, we're going to talk about the growing number of Black women in business, how we've evolved, and what it'll take to help African American women in business run successful businesses. Let's get started. Black women have always had an entrepreneurial spirit. From our great-grandmothers who cleaned houses for a living and sold fish dinners at churches, to the many African American women who rose to the tops of their industries, including Michelle Obama, the first African American First Lady of the United States, Sheila C. Johnson, founder of BET, becoming the first African American woman billionaire, Oprah Winfrey, having the #1 daytime talk show in America, Serena Williams, #1 in women's singles tennis, Janice Bryant, owner of the largest minority woman-owned employment agency in the United States, and Ursula Burns, the first African-American woman CEO of a Fortune 500 company. And of course, the list goes on and on. In fact, according to the 2015 State of Women-Owned Business Report, the number of women-owned businesses grew by 74% between 1997 and 2015. The report also stated that 33% of women-owned firms are owned by minority women, and Black females are amongst the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs in the U.S. It's wonderful to know that African American women entrepreneurs are the fastest growing segment of entrepreneurs in the U.S. What a great statistic. So it's important that we don't let this momentum die. Now, more than ever, African American women entrepreneurs need resources available to help them not just be in business, but grow in business. The biggest hurdle African American women business owners face is that many are first-generation entrepreneurs, and they lack exposure to other Black women in business that have successful businesses from which they can glean habits and proven processes from. Let's look at an example of just how important having a role model accessible to you can be. Here is what Jessica Alba, actress and CEO of The Honest Company, said about having someone that you can call on.
As far as mentors go, countless. I was not shy about making phone calls to many people. I've been fortunate enough to know people like Tory Burch and Diane von Furstenberg, and they, got lots of emails and phone calls from me along the way with tears in my eyes saying, I don't know if this is possible. Why is everyone telling me no? What do I do? What does it even mean to get venture capital? What is venture capital? What's a board? I just didn't know all these business terms. And so they helped me understand it. And it's nice having women that you can look to and rely on.
Incidentally, her husband, Cash Warren, a Yale graduate, producer, and tech investor, introduced Jessica to his childhood friend, Brian Lee, an entrepreneur who co-founded LegalZoom. And the women Jessica reached out to, Tory Burch, who is a New York fashion designer, and Diane von Furstenberg, who is a billion-dollar fashion designer. Unfortunately, most African American women don't have the same access and connections that Jessica Alba was blessed with. Black female entrepreneurs need a supportive network of African American women business owners that we can learn from. It's time to talk, share, and provide resources and roadmaps to Black women in business. We need successful mentors to inspire African American women on their journey in business. I have lined up a variety of successful, prominent, and leading African American women in business across many industries to share their paths and secrets to their success. They will discuss their journey not only as women in business, but more importantly, how they grew successful businesses in spite of the unique challenges faced by African American women business owners. Forgive my cloudy voice, but the show must go on. So let's get into the show.
My first question is, how do you feel about being a part of this historical time for African American women in business?
I feel honored to be a part of what's transpiring across the business landscape right now. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the term Black Girl Magic, but it's just a real opportunity in 2016 to be so proud of being a woman and being a woman that's progressing the culture and progressing business all around you. So to be a part of this right now is it's a blessing.
I love Black Girl Magic. Is that something that you coined?
I did not coin it. I feel like it's a viral. We use the word hashtavism instead of activism when people are showing their support to a movement through a hashtag. But through social media, you just see women who are just really proud of what they're doing and proud of their melanin, and to put it in that way. But Black Girl Magic is just a viral footprint on the modern-day Black girl who is progressing and doing things to uplift women around her.
Love it, love it. So, Nicole, a good story isn't a good story until we can understand where you started. How did you get started in business?
Well, I like to tell people that I caught the entrepreneurial bug very, very early in life. I was 5 years old, and I knew that I loved entrepreneurism. I was the candy lady in my classroom. I was the top seller of Girl Scout cookies, all those different things, selling everything around the house till my parents had to say, "Hey, that's not for sale, Nicole." Just really caught that bug really early in life, and luckily had people around me who helped to help me polish that and put that into a very positive arena. And so I always say that I didn't go to school to learn to work for someone. I went to school to fine-tune my entrepreneurial spirit, and that's how I came to the place of owning and operating the Garner Circle.
Excellent. So tell me about that. What is the Garner Circle? Who do you work with, and how do you help them?
Sure. So the Garner Circle is a PR and lifestyle marketing agency where we do everything from media coaching to media placement, publicity campaigns, product seeding, product placement, executive messaging training, press kits, all those different things just to truly help a brand or a client connect with their public in a very organic way.
And who do you work with?
Well, right now we're working with Oxygen and Bravo on a lot of their television shows that they're rolling out. We've worked with Universal Films for a few of their movie projects. We have a very global beauty brand called Strength of Nature, which has the hair care lines, Beautiful Textures, Elastic QP, African Pride, a few of those up under its portfolio. And then we continue to we still work with small businesses as well, when we just can see the prolificness of their reach and their mission. So those are some of our clients.
Excellent. And what types of industries in terms of small businesses would you and do you work with?
We work with nonprofits quite a lot, just because we see that they need the voice the most and, don't necessarily have the means to put that out there. And then we work with certain authors when they have national appeal to their storyline. And we work with startup companies, technology, and things of that nature.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. And so tell me also about 100 Female Entrepreneurs.
Well, 100 Female Entrepreneurs is an organization, a business league that we have fostered on a global level. And I'm just very, very excited about that. Throughout my career as a female entrepreneur, I just noticed that there weren't a lot of mentors that really helped develop the female side of entrepreneurism, the things that you go through, whether that be strategizing your business, taking it to the next level, how to date while being an entrepreneur, how to work-life balance, how to really go after national contracts when you're a small company, just so many different things that I had to learn the hard way. So we cultivated this business league to have an online segment to it where you could get information, you can log in, get teaching, downloadables, video training, etc., and then paired it with offline opportunities as well so that you can meet people, connect in person, get mentorships, because, of course, mentorships is the key to ever getting to the next level. And just networking, too, networking amongst other women, supporting other women.
And how many women are a part of the network?
Right now, about 2,000. And then we're continuing to expand. So it's through our social media platforms as well. And we just want to keep pushing the organization at a very aggressive rate just to be able to touch as many women as possible.
Definitely. And just so our listeners can have a bit more information, is it a paid or membership, or how do you participate?
It is a membership-based organization, and so they will go to 100female-entrepreneurs.com, and there are different entry points into it, so membership levels, whether you're just beginning your entrepreneurship journey or whether you've been in business very mature in your business and just really wanted to expand and take it to the next level.
Wonderful. And what, Nicole, have you found as a common problem or myth that women believe about being a part of a network or getting coaching or mentorship in terms of growing their business?
I think with any organization, you get out of it what you put into it. And I think that's just an overall philosophy to life. Many times when you're looking for answers, if you're providing answers and resources for other people, you'll find your answer in the midst of the journey. And so, I've even found that myself, that I've taught classes and workshops and seminars, and in the process of doing so, I become so much more re-energized in my industry, and I learn so much. You learn just as much from the students as the students learn from the teacher. So I think it's just very important to not just join for the credential of an organization, but really thrust yourself, getting involved into it, and helping to push the needle.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
So, as an African-American woman in business, let's talk about what your path has been like as you've navigated your entrepreneurship. What can you share with Black women business owners about starting, staying, and sticking it through to reach a level of success in their business?
I think there's so many different keys in regards to starting and sticking it through. One is when it comes to starting, start with longevity in mind. I think the new word that so many people are gravitating towards is the word hustle. But hustle means that you didn't take the time to think, how can this business survive over the next decade? That's a quick money fix. So you want to kind of revamp your mind to think about how can your business stay stay in place for the long run. The goal is to leave a legacy, to build a foundation and resources that can be used long after your time on this earth. So making sure that you see the longevity in mind, having the right legal team in place, the right financial people around you, the board of directors, whatever is needed for you to start completely on the right foot, and that you can handle growth when it comes. And then staying power, a lot of that comes from surrounding yourself around good, progressive people and accountability partners. I think that a lot to do with staying is just not getting discouraged. But in the entrepreneurial space, discouragement can come weekly, if not sometimes daily, depending where you are. And so you just want to have the right people speaking into your life and speaking life into you, helping you through some of those quick issues that, when you're in the midst of them, they seem like it's the end of the world, but you might have a counterpart that went through something similar to help you get out of that hole very quickly. And then mentorships are very key too, because they've been there before and they can help you get out of those gray areas.
So Nicole, that was a great share. Tell me, what was hard for you? I mean, honestly, think of one of the most challenging times in your business. What was really hard for you, and how did you work past that or through that?
In the beginning, what was really hard for me was financial resources, and having to become very creative with that. I did not come from a very rich family that said, here goes $50,000, go live your dreams. It was building every dollar with every dollar that I had. So I just got very creative. I got creative with bartering in the beginning. I got creative with resources, utilizing them. I used a lot of technology in the beginning because technology can help you for such a minimal cost, at least in your beginning stages, till you can afford a person to sit in that role. So that helps me out a lot. I had to be very mindful of my resources and financial spends in the beginning. So I started off with a co-working space. And for those who aren't very aware of that, it's a communal style office space where you can, save at least 3 times as much on your office rent, but you can still be in a professional space. I actually own a co-working space now in Atlanta, Georgia, called Open for Business, that helps entrepreneurs get through that time of needing somewhere to, not work in the house, et cetera, but not spending, your entire month's earnings on that professional presence. So just a lot of those things helped me out in the beginning, and never being scared to ask people too. Like, your friends and family are usually some of your first investors when it comes to things that they can understand, if they can wrap their mind around it, and right. You can present it in the right way, but not being scared to ask either.
Excellent. And what have you found with your years of experience working with entrepreneurs? What has been hard for female entrepreneurs and the African-American women that you've worked with? What have you heard and found has been difficult for them?
I think being prepared, solidly prepared to do business at a national or global level. So whether that ranges from knowing how to properly pitch your business, being prepared for that, how to present your numbers, how to understand your financials, to get investors or just even pitch your business is very, very key. I think not being so emotionally tied to your business. There's so many women who start their businesses, of course, out of passion, but at the end of the day, it's still a business. If you need to sell it, you need to sell it. If you need to move on from it, it drags you all the way down. So
Definitely.
Some of those things.
And anything that jumps out to the top of your mind that black women face different than others when they're starting their business?
I think just lack of resources.
Mm-hmm.
I think lack of resources is just very key, especially in the black women space. I think that knowledge to what's out there I think knowledge to what's out there is very key.
So we have other black women that have accomplished great success, like those I mentioned earlier, and others, such as Taraji P. Henson, Kamala Harris, Shonda Rhimes, and countless others. Can you share a nugget, Nicole, to help women that are just starting a business?
I think what's very key when you're just starting a business is understanding what you're really getting into. So not jumping in, trying to move very quickly, but taking baby steps to really understand the demographic, really understand the thought capital that goes into it, really understanding the permits that are needed, the upfront costs that are needed, the resources that are really needed to pull it off, how much working capital needs to be in place. A lot of people start a business based off of what it costs to open doors, but do you have 3 months of working capital in place to keep your doors open or even longer? Do you understand all the taxes that are assessed to you in the beginning so that you add that to your initial startup cost? Just really, really researching every single thing that you can, living, eating, breathing it, so that when you get into it, you're not overwhelmed or sideswiped by all these things that you are not aware of, but you should have been aware of it before you opened your doors. That's
a great share, definitely. And so what would you say is most important to have a successful business?
To having a successful business, most important would be at least truly understanding the industry that you're going into, understanding the timing of it, how seasons may affect your business, understanding cash flow, ups and downs of your business, just really being as prepared as you can going into business is what keeps people from having such highs and such emotional lows, because the emotional lows is why so many people close their business down, because they just feel so overwhelmed or blindsided by what's transpiring.
Yeah, definitely. So really what I got from what you just said is being knowledgeable about their industry. Yeah. So if you could share something with your younger self, let's say the 15 years ago, Nicole, about being in business, what would it be?
The power of the word no.
Yes. Yes, no, yes.
Not burning yourself out in your early years, setting up boundaries for yourself, what you will do, what you won't do, even in regards to just setting up boundaries to the start of your day and the end of your day, because people will try to get the most out of you that they can. And you have to know, that you're in this for the long run. So if you are working 24 hours a day in your 20s, you can't keep that up in your 30s. So just making sure that you set those boundaries. And then I think what's really key, too, is reputation is everything. There's a lot of things that you will be approached on throughout the next couple of decades of your life, but your reputation will carry you through. If you do good work, you'll always get hired. If you don't do good work, you can make your logo as pretty as you want to, your website as fancy as it needs to be, but you won't get hired because your reputation will just be known for not doing good work.
Yeah, that's very important. As I explained in the introduction, one of the greatest challenges African American women face in business is the lack of successful black business role models in our communities. So let's talk specifically now about the unique challenges African American women business owners face. I'm going to go through a brief list, about 6 different points. And if you would listen, and I'm sure you can relate and probably share insight on a few of them, and I might pull on you for that. But pick one that, you want to speak about. Okay, so the first one is family. Your family didn't understand your entrepreneurial walk. The second one is friends. Friends, maybe they aren't business owners, so they don't understand, what you're going through and how life has changed for you. no role models to call on. We spoke about that great example with Jessica Alba and how important that is to be able to reach someone that truly has had a level of success and get insight or even encouragement. Business knowledge, understanding business terms and just the inner workings of running a business. Quite often in the African American community, we don't have that knowledge because many of us are first-time and first-generation entrepreneurs. Seeking capital, a new area for so many people, for all entrepreneurs, but specifically African Americans in general and women not even knowing where to start to seek capital. Juggling being a single parent or a single mom. I mean, that one goes without saying for all women, but specifically in the African American community, quite a challenge. Investing in ourselves. Unfortunately, our culture, we don't get raised to go to personal development seminars and to be, developing ourselves in that way. And lastly, volunteering. Unfortunately, a lot of times as we're growing up in African American families, the only volunteering that we see is the volunteering that we may do in our churches if our family is a part of that setting. So we're not typically raised to, feed the homeless and volunteer and work for free when we're young. So out of all of those, which one jumped out that you can relate to and would like to share on?
I would have to say the family one for me. And so I think what you have to realize is previous decades or generations have lived with just a completely different mindset. It wasn't long ago when your parents or your grandparents lived in a world where their goal was to get a job that lasted them 40 years and they got their big pension and, retired and then got a chance to live life. And now today's generation wants to live life now. They want the money now. They want to live life now, experience life now, all those different things. And so you're dealing with just two different mindsets having to interact and understand each other. So I think, when you take it at that realm, you can work to make your family understand a little bit more, and they'll try to understand you a little bit more. And then also, too, some people live in fear. They, the fear that they weren't able to do it, becomes their dictation of how they view what it is you're trying to do. So their fear becomes so real to them that they try to impose it in your life, and you have to, just be very alert to that and recognize that some people, operate and live in fear. Don't let that be your life or your vision of how you're viewing things. And then, too, also, I think that people get too comfortable with friends and family and just expect people to be on board just because you're related or you've known each other for, since you were little. But I think that you have to explain your business as formal to some of them as you would an outsider, and they'll get on board. They want to still see your numbers. They still want to see, how does this business make sense, more so than just, come on, we know each other for years. Can't you just put your money behind this? I think it has to be a little deeper than that for anyone now. Everyone is scared to put $1 out there unless they're sure that, as sure as they can possibly be that it'll turn into something more. So I don't think that you should skip over the formalities with friends and family just because that relationship is there.
Yeah, that's great. That's very valuable. So, Nicole, did you grow up with entrepreneurial examples, or are you a first-generation entrepreneur?
I'm a first-generation full-time entrepreneur. So I would definitely say my father always had some things going on. He always had other means of, selling insurance or other things on the side, even though he had a strict 9-to-5. So I still learned some of my entrepreneurial zest from him. And just in my community there, I saw a lot of entrepreneurial men, not so much entrepreneurial women, but definitely, landscape businesses and restaurant owners and, so many things that I saw growing up in that realm. So But as far as my family, I would definitely say I'm probably the first generation full-time entrepreneur.
Okay. And do you think, or how do you think that's affected you positively or not so great?
I think it's positive because my family truly supports it, and truly just believed in me as an individual. I think the interesting side to it was just things that you go through as a woman. I couldn't necessarily speak to my mother about because she just operated from a 9-to-5 space. So if something was really stressing me out, she would be like, "Well, why don't you just, move on?
Don't get a job."
Yeah, why don't you just move on to something else? And it's like it's not that easy. This is what I've invested my heart and soul into. Just the type of advice was just very different, and that's why I sought out mentors in that space.
Yes, definitely. So there are many articles online about entrepreneurs and their success stories or challenges they had to overcome, but there are very few about current-day women. And when I say current-day women, I don't mean celebrities. I mean current-day women with really successful businesses, dentists, chiropractors, coaches, PR people, real estate. There's not a lot out there about them and what they've gone through, and definitely not specific articles sharing what African-American business women have gone through. And so what did you do, Nicole, when you got stuck, overwhelmed, ran out of money, or even possibly felt like quitting?
So for me, when it came time to that money wasn't where it needed to be, I had to get creative. I started to offer more services to my suite of services, and I also started to heavily research which industries were still thriving, especially when the economy took a downturn. I started to have to really look at, I couldn't just work with whoever I wanted to work with, but I had to really think who has budgets, like who is not being affected by the economy, who can afford PR, because that was, some of the things that people were starting to cut. And I had to find people who valued it, who still believed in it, who could, understand that this would help to amplify or push forward their business, and they have the budget to coincide the efforts. So that's how I got along during that time. And then in the moments where I felt like I wanted to quit, prayer definitely.
Yeah.
A lot of prayer definitely helped me through those realms. And then I just really had great people around me that reminded me of my why. Why did you begin this, Nicole? And why is this necessary? And why do you need to see it continue? And those reminders were always jolted me back to my reality of keeping this train going.
That's wonderful. Wonderful to have that type of support. Mm-hmm. So what didn't you have when you were building your business that you wish you would have had?
I think definitely in my beginning stages, just a lot of higher level understanding, like how to truly structure my business to do business with high level clientele. It's just a completely different ball game. Formality of reporting and turnaround times and understanding a net 90 and a net 120. When you work with large brands like a Walmart or Disney or et cetera, that payment doesn't come for like a net 90, which is 90 days out, or a net 120, which is 120 days out. And for a small business, that could be a lot to float. So, even understand if you want to do business with those type of brands, in the beginning, just some of that high level information I just had to really, really learn on my own. And if I could have had someone walk me through those processes a little bit more, probably would have saved a lot of headache and tears.
Yes, definitely. So let's have a little fun here. I'm going to complain for a moment. Hopefully you'll help me through this. Our black businessmen, they're showing us out, and that's not going to work. Tyler Perry has his homeless to success story. Eric Thomas, the motivational hip-hop preacher, has his homeless to PhD story. So as ladies, we've got to get our stories out and document it so African-American women in business have some inspiration when they're feeling low, when they're searching online, and when they want to try to learn what other women did in challenging times. So together, Nicole, let's craft either your rags to riches story or your hero story. So you start, and I'll jump in, and let's see if we can come up with a tagline for you.
Okay.
What would you say? Do you feel that you have a rags to riches story or a hero story? Which one?
I would say more of a hero story.
Okay, give it to me.
Hero story being just recognizing the passion within me very young in life, and honoring that and not trying to cover that up or sway away from it for the pursuit of money, but really going after what made me happy from years back and just seeing that all the way through.
Yeah. Okay. So from selling Girl Scout cookies to promoting brands. I mean, I'm sure we'll come up with something catchier, but you know what I mean? From this to that. Yeah, we'll play with that. But thank you. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that story. So switching directions for a moment, today there's a lot of talk about collaboration. What are your thoughts on collaboration instead of competition?
I think that's the new model. I think collaboration is the new model for women in business, and competition is the old model. I think years and years ago, there was this perceived notion that there was only one desk that you can sit in, one title, one CEO title that you could hold, one, true leader of this business. But now that you can create your own business, there's millions of CEOs, millions of CFOs, millions of women who are breaking glass ceilings on a daily basis. And so competition will only hurt you in this new model. If you're working as an island unto yourself, you're going to get blown out the water. And I think that collaboration is what is the only thing that will help you survive. It's the currency that's needed to pay it forward. It's the DNA that's needed to just construct any type of dream right now. And so working with, other individuals is what can help elevate you, take your business to the next level. It can help open up doors that you didn't even know existed. It can help give innovation or breathe innovation. Of course, in your own mind, you can only think of doing certain things the same way all the time. And innovation is what, the Obama Association push and just government as a whole is really fostering innovation. Just America as a whole is fostering innovation. And it takes two sticks rubbing together to create fire. You can't really make innovation as an island unto yourself. So I think collaboration is key.
I love something that you said. Collaboration is the new currency. Yeah, I love that. One of the things I share with business owners, especially women, is how they can succeed without having to compete. And, there's a number of ways of doing that. A lot of that, because we're all so unique, is taking that uniqueness and sharing it within a niche, within your industry, and you can be the expert right within that niche in a big C. And I call that the power of positioning. Also, as you know, leveraging the media to build your brand, and then, taking all that notoriety and sharing it via social media. That can build a brand, especially if you have a smaller company, much faster than some of the past traditional, get a flyer and kind of marketing tactics. But in terms of competition, when you look back, when you put your eyes on your competition, you're not giving all your energy to your business. So I would totally agree. Collaboration, gosh, it can take you really far, much quicker. So how do you think we can move forward and turn that growing number of African-American women in business into successful million, multi-million, and billion-dollar businesses? That statistic that I shared earlier about African-American women in business being the fastest-growing segment. How can we move that number forward and turn those businesses into successful businesses?
I think providing resources, whether it be financial, just when you study the tech industry right now and you look at the amount of angel investors and venture capitalists and things of that nature, and you even see that there is less than 2% of African Americans that are angel investors or venture capitalists or believing in investing in new and up-and-coming businesses. I think it starts at that resource level. You know, there's so many people with great ideas, but they can't float these ideas with no cash flow. And the banks don't give out loans anymore, and the GoFundMe pages don't work like they used to because they've been taken advantage of. So there has to be a sense of community in regards to investing in dreams that appear that they can work, that can, you know, that are really thought out, strong concepts. And if you can invest in them, because that is pretty much all they have right now. When it comes to the businesses that you see grow very rapidly, just like even you mentioned in the intro, Jessica Alba, there was financial investment in that. I know she didn't take her own money and just get it to the next level, but even when you look at Lisa Price and Carol's daughter, there was, you know, Jay-Z came in and Jada Pinkett and Mary J. Blige, and they put their money together and helped invest in her. But there's just no way you can get to successful million-dollar companies with no capital. And, I mean, the ideas can be as great. They could be groundbreaking ideas, but with no money to fund them, you know, how far can they really go?
So in essence, you're saying we need an African-American Shark Tank.
Exactly.
That's right. I love that. Yeah. Yeah. I like that. So, Nicole, what impact would you like to make as an African-American woman in business over the next 10 years?
As an African-American woman in business, my impact is just helping to restore other women back to wanting to create legacies, not necessarily wanting to get in and get out of launching businesses or doing anything by any means necessary, but restoring that sense of pride and making the world a better place than before you were here is what I'm very, very purposeful in. And then just helping us play at an equal playing field, helping us challenge each other to operating at that level and investing in each other and grabbing each other by the hand and pulling, you know, our neighbors up with us. Just very passionate about that.
I love it. I actually have a very similar mission and goal. So do you have a mentor at this juncture in your business?
I do. I have multiple mentors. I have mentors for different things. I have mentors, a mentor for basically family. I got married last year, and I'm always having questions on how do you balance this and how do you do that and how do you make that work. So I have that mentor. I have a mentor in business that, you know, sees things that I don't see and helps me, you know, take that to the next level. I have a mentor in my faith that's just, you know, someone I could pray with me. I pray for them. We pray together. I have a fitness mentor. I have people that, you know, help me stretch the capacity in so many different realms.
I love that. Faith, family, fitness, and, hey, a financial mentor. I like that. And do you have a business coach different from a mentor?
I don't necessarily have a business coach right now, but I think that's something that's very important. So that's something I definitely do believe in investing in, and I just have to continue through my journey of searching for that business coach. But I've seen great things happen for those who have business coaches, and if anything, it just helps you come up with your clarity of purpose.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think is great in itself.
And can you share some advice on how to seek or approach a mentor for the listeners today?
I think approaching mentors now are, I think it's just, you have to do it in a way of giving more so than asking. Yeah. I think the ones that are very popular that everyone's seeking, you have to remember that they're probably getting 1 million requests on mentorship a day. I know that I even have come out with a book on PR and other things on that because I was getting so many requests where people wanted to have one-on-ones and sit down and meet and mentor and, you know, those different things, that there's no way to help that many people one by one and still get through your day of having to do business. So I came up with platforms and books and those types of things to help at a larger level. But when you're seeking a mentor, you should think, what can you do for them? That'll attract them, because anyone you look up to still needs help, still needs, you know, things in that realm. I have a friend that always says that her mentor, she picks her up from the airport every time she comes into town, and that's when she can, you know, get her to sit still and focus in and hone in and get her true advice, etc., before she goes, you know, back off into the world of busy. And
what
I thought
a great nugget. Thank you. That is a fabulous nugget. Mm-hmm.
No problem. Yeah, and I thought that was great, you know, and I think it has to be a give and a win-win relationship too. So many people want a mentor because they per se don't want to do the work. You know, they want someone to give them a shortcut to doing everything, and they want to hurry up and get to that mentor's level. But that's not the true essence of a mentor. It's still a relationship, and with all relationships, both parties have to put into it for it to work.
Yeah, definitely. This is kind of off the cuff, but can you share the titles of a couple of your books just so they have those resources available?
Yeah, some of my favorite books that just really help change.
No, I mean your books first.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
my book on PR is called RUN Inc., and that's INC. And it just talks about different niche areas of public relations and then publicity as a whole. So if you're thinking about hiring a publicist or utilizing one, you can at least be up to speed on what you should be expecting from that person. And then it gives great tips for doing some publicity on your own. And then I have a book that's in the works right now called 100 Things My Mother Never Told Me About Being a Female Entrepreneur. And it's basically a chicken soup for the soul format of just women that I've been interviewing over the past year in regards to things that affect them from their femininity all the way down to their business side that, you know, they just had to learn throughout their journey.
Wonderful. And those are your 2 books?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And can you share 5 success tips with us?
Sure. So, first, defining what success is for you. You know, it definitely can't be defined by what your parents think success is, what your spouse thinks success is, what anybody around you, but defining that for yourself. I think tip number 1 is loving what you do. Passion is the key to keeping a business moving forward. And if you could see for yourself so many half-hearted business ventures, and those are the ones that open one day and they close the next day because the heart is not in it. So I think that loving what you do and going into that room is very important. I think learning from others is very key. You talked a little bit about investing in yourself, going to conferences, joining organizations, and, you know, putting your due diligence on LinkedIn and you know, Facebook groups and so many meetups and so many things that you can do. I think is key because just so many people have different experiences that you can learn from. I think the next tip is learning how to self-promote. There's so many women that you kind of get so humble at the wrong time. You know, you get to the point where you don't want to put yourself out there, but no one can speak of you greater than you can of yourself. And if you're afraid to ask for the sale, you'll never get it. And then I think my last tip would be I think that's tip 4. constantly taking action. And so most entrepreneurs that you meet are, I hate to use the word, it's cliche, but movers and shakers. They're always doing something to push the needle, to propel their business forward, to connect the dots, to move their brand. Always constantly taking action is very, very key. And then tip number 5 is building a good team. You know, and that was definitely a learning part for me in regards to having to truly understand how to delegate and then hiring towards your weaknesses. So if there's certain areas that you know you don't excel in, those are some of the first people that you should hire, so that you can balance out just your potential and your growth power. So those are some of my tips.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. And can you recommend 2 books that you feel every woman should read?
One being The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, I think is very, very key. It just really helps you look at business in a whole new light, not being so focused in the business as you are on the business, not being a slave to your own dream. It was just very key. And then the second book is called The Method, and it just talks about being a disruptor in your industry.
That's nice. Well, Nicole, thank you so much, honestly, sincerely, for taking the time to give back and share your journey as a Black woman in business. Is there one last nugget you'd like to leave for inspiration?
I think that in today's market, there's probably going to be 1 million people that do what you do, whether it's, you know, you're a cupcake maker, whether you are a publicist, whether you're a radio personality, whatever it is, but no one is you. No one can do it the way you do it. No one can bring your je ne sais quoi to the table the way you can, and people will always hire you for you.
Wonderful. Where can our listeners get more information about you?
Sure. So for our PR agency, it's thegarnercircle.com. For 100 female entrepreneurs, it's 100 female entrepreneurs with the S.com to learn more in regards to membership. And if you're following on Instagram or Twitter, it's at 100 females with the S.
Excellent. Thank you, everyone, for joining the show today. And remember, lead with value, and the revenue will follow.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.